here, and let me make sure this is not the volume. Okay, we're good. So, we got Lapras and Lapras. So okay. Before I say anything else, these are all of the water dragons. I promise there's no more. Um, I want to clarify that because we have two in a row, and then there was a Kingdra not too far back at all, right there. So you might be thinking, what the fuck? There's so many water dragons. These are all of the water dragon types in the entire hack. Period. This is all of them. It is Seadra, Kingdra, Mega Gyarados, and Lapras. That is it. Um, so don't stress, like, what the fuck is making everything water dragon? It's just a coincidence that they happen to be very close to one another. It's just these four, I promise. Technically just the three evolution lines, but Seadra obviously is its own Pokemon and it's viable on its own, so that's why I'm counting it separate. That being said, thing I will address first. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I might need to address for Lapras. These might seem kind of weird or funky. But the biggest one is the typing, and Lapras. So Lapras is based on a plesiosaur, and dinosaurs have been confirmed to be dragon type in the Pokemon. Excuse me. And I actually have a feeling that they probably just threw ice typing on Lapras because, or they like kind of put the ice typing on it because back in Gen 1, ice type was added very late into development, and so they just needed a bunch of ice types. Because looking at Lapras, nothing about it really seems ice type at all. Its armor isn't even made out of ice, it's just like a regular shell. And most of the entries, the only really mention of ice is that they live in cold seas, I guess, but not even most of the entries I mentioned that. So, yeah, Dragon fits totally good, and it makes Lapras much, much better. Gmax Lapras is actually ice, so Gmax Lapras is cool. Anyway, yeah, that's why Lapras is Dragon from a balancing point of view. Also from a balancing point of view, again, like I mentioned in other change guides, recently I spent the time, about a week and a half, of just planning out every single Pokemon and every single ability they're going to have, and every single, like, just to make sure there's no overlap for all the type changes and whatnot. And as a result, Lapras was, as you know, is no longer water ice. However, there are also 4 water ice types. I believe one of which was not ice water before, but then the other 3 are. Let me actually check really quickly. I have a list. Sorry, 2 of them were originally water ice, and then 2 new water ice spawns. I won't be saying or spoiling what they are right now, but yeah. Point being, there is Seadra, Kingdra, Mega Gyarados, and Lapras, and then there's Dugong, Walrein, and then 2 more water ice types. So it's 4 and 4. It worked out very nicely. And water ice wise, Lapras would have overlapped very badly with some of the other water ice types in terms of like the way that it plays and the abilities and all that crap, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So that's another reason. But also because, again, ice typing doesn't really make that much sense on it in the first place, although I did let it retain the ice moves for obvious reasons. And yeah, it's a good mon. I originally had planned Serene Grace and Thick Fat, but then I had thought about it, and I was like, Serene Grace is really useful, don't get me wrong. You know, you got the 60% burn rate with the Scalds and the Dragon Breath, and then you got the high paralysis rate with Dragon Pulse and 60% paralysis. You got high flinch rates, you've got T-Wave, you can para-flinch shit to death. Like, it's a good ability, but it felt kind of mid. I don't know. So I ended up realizing that Stamina fits way. I Thick Fat was always going to be on there. The reason being, well, number one, it has like blubber and shit, or at least it looks like it does. And number two, it does say here that it like resists the cold and all that stuff, and so Water Dragon would be neutral to ice, and that felt kind of cursed. And so I was like, all right, I think they need to have Thick Fat then to compensate. So they do still resist ice. So they are Water Dragon type, but they resist ice. So actually, they have an excellent. Here, I will type in Palkia just for the Water Dragon. So you 4 times resist fire, water. You neutrally resist steel. You neutrally resist ice. And actually, sorry, you 8 times resist fire with Thick Fat. So that's really, really strong. And then you only have 2 times resist a dragon and fairy, so that's really useful. Yeah, Water Dragon's great typing. So that out of the way, as for the logic of stamina, I mean, they're a ride Pokemon. They're known for ferrying around people literally across like the entire sea and all this crap, and it just likes to ferry people around. So I thought stamina fit really nicely as well. And from my balancing point of view, it helps it differentiate itself from how amazing Kingdra, Seadra, and Gyarados are, because all 3 of those are excellent. And I felt like Serene Grace and Thick Fat was kind of just mid. I mean, it's very bulky and all that stuff, and it has Shell Smash, which I'll get into in a second. So it's not like it would be bad. Like, it would definitely not be bad. It would just be probably the worst of the 3 Water Dragon lines, in my opinion. Not that it would be bad, it would have been very good. But Stamina makes it excellent with So another thing that people might be like, why'd you nerf it? Its HP is nerfed. You nerfed Lapras. I'm pretty sure nobody's actually saying that, looking at the other stat boost. But yeah, HP is based much more on size now. So yeah, Lapras is a 110 HP, which is still very good and very high. It's just not as high because it's not that big. I mean, it's big. It's fucking 8 feet tall and 100 pounds, but 130 was a bit excessive, and that also lets me put more into other stats. Only if very few Pokemon will be going over will be hitting 130. Not very few, but not as many as have it right now. So yeah, you just have really nice HP, really good physical defense now, and really good special defense. Just really solid, good bulk. 110, 100, 110 as a Water Dragon is just really solid. Especially when you consider stamina. Stamina is insane on it. You have reliable recovery in Aqua Ring and Wish. Aqua Ring heals flat 50%. Wish also does so, but you can pass wishes to your teammates, so that's an advantage. But obviously, a disadvantage is that it's not instantaneous. You would need to protect after or whatever to get the healing. So you kind of just pick and choose which one you need. Wish team support is definitely good. So yeah. Also logically, I think Wish kind of just fits Lapras's vibe. So I thought that was fine on there to throw on there. Otherwise, they have so much great moves that I'll get into those in a little bit. But other than that, like I said, think about it as situational. Basically, what you're going to be using stamina most of the time. It's one of those situations where the infinite ability capsules mean that you can just slap Thick Fat on it when you need it. So, for example, if you need your Lapras to resist ice or fire, then you give it Thick Fat. If you're fighting a special ice type, for example, you're going to want Thick Fat. You're not going to need stamina. It's useless against the special ice type. So it really just depends. But obviously, stamina is far less situational than Thick Fat is. So yeah, it's still good to have though. You're just going to be using stamina most of the time. And like I said, you can rack up stat boost really, really nicely. You can also do really great stuff like stamina and calm mind sets. So stamina, calm mind, aqua ring is excellent. Stamina, calm mind, or iron defense or amnesia are also all very good to have. You also have sing and serenade to put the opponent to sleep to set up easier. So sing always lasts 2 turns. It is 80% accurate now, which is very, very useful. And Serenade, on the other hand, does not last a certain amount of turns because it has the yawn effect. So what that is, it's a 70 base power move. If I can, oh my god, what is Sing like using? That's funny. Okay, then we'll type in another sleep move because they'll all be together. There we go. So, excuse me, gosh. Yeah, so it's 80% accurate, 2 turns. Lapras is actually a pretty slow mon. Also, the Z effect is +2 speed, which you can use really nicely. So you could do like Z Sing into Calm Mind with stamina and just become really, really fast and bulky and strong. So that's great. Again, you have very solid bulk, so you can also run Assault Vest sets on Lapras and just be bulky naturally. I mean, you're already very bulky on your own, but and then you have very respectable 90-90 offenses. Obviously, Lapras doesn't seem like the most offensive one, but it is a fucking 8-foot tall plesiosaur with a giant spiked shell and a horn. So it should still be able to pack a little bit with a decent punch, hence why I buffed it just to 90. Excuse me. And then the speed I dropped a bit just because speed is a lot more consistent now overall, and I felt like it doesn't look very quick. However, 50 base speed is still very good with speed boosting options such as Rock Polish and Shell Smash. Rock Polish gives you +1 accuracy on top of the special attack. On top of the speed boost. So that's really nice to have. It boosts the accuracy of a lot of your moves. For example, Icicle Crash and Glaciate and Blizzard and what are some other inaccurate moves it has? Not too many actually. Zen Headbutt is slightly inaccurate. Flash Cannon is inaccurate a little bit. All of these moves that I'm listing as inaccurate, by the way, aren't really that inaccurate. They're only about 5 to 10% inaccurate. Even Thunder and Blizzard are 85. Mega Horn is 85. Focus Blast is 85. Hydro Pump is 90. So not like the end of the world, but the accuracy boost is very nice. So you can use Rock Polish with like Weakness Policy, for example, with all of those move sets, all of the item moves, and that's really nice to have. All Whirlpool is a big one with Rock Polish. Rock Polish, Whirlpool, Rock Polish, There's no dragon moves is the thing that are inaccurate really. I believe actually almost none. If we actually check, I'm pretty sure Dragon Fury. Yeah, Dragon Fury is like the only inaccurate dragon move, um, which is good because I mean I made dragon moves really good on purpose because they're useless outside of stab for the most part. So now they actually are worth using, especially and they also just make dragons better because I wanted to restore dragons kinda to their original glory, not really. They definitely are still kept in check by fairies, obviously, but yeah, by making the move stronger. And also, this is actually this is related. It's relevant because it's Lapras and their dragon. I haven't mentioned this yet, but Dragon Fang is buffed. You only get one in the entire game, but it is buffed, so you get one Dragon Fang and it boosts by 30%. So you essentially get a life orb booster free on your dragon moves, which is great considering how strong dragon moves are on their own now. So that's really cool to have. Um, you have priority dual stab with Aqua Jet and Dragon Jet and or Bubble Shot. Those are all good priority moves to have because you're pretty slow. Good coverage moves all across the board. Lapras already learned Thunder and Thunderbolt and one more Shockwave. It already got those 3 electric moves, so I figured, you know what, throw on Volt Switch to Charge Beam. That's the logic I've been using this whole hack. That's why a lot more shit has Volt Switch now. That seems weird, because for some reason they only gave Volt Switch to like mostly electric types, despite giving T-Bolt and Thunder to fucking everything on the planet. So my logic is if they can summon a Thunderbolt, they can summon Thunder, then they can totally, harness electricity to switch out in a weaker move. So yeah. That being said, you have a lot of useful stuff with utility, like Breaking Swipe always drops attack, and it's 70 base power, same with Aurora Beam. Those are both nice to have. Soak is good, Z-Soak gives you +2 special attack. Bubble Barrage hits 3 times, it's 60 base power overall, but it drops... This is a little quiet, actually. Which is not usually a problem, but it's slightly too quiet. Alright. Probably can't hear over my loud-ass voice right now. I feel like I'm talking loudly, I don't know why. But... Anyways, you retain your good ice moves, so you have, for the most part, only ice types learn Freeze Dry and Glaciate, and I did that on purpose, because, like, I just don't want, like, those 2 moves are great, and I want them to be a buff for ice types specifically, but there are always going to be some exceptions, and I feel like Lapras is like an honorary ice type in the sense that I'm still going to keep the ice moves on it. Same goes for Avalanche, which is very powerful. Avalanche, as long as you have been hit that turn, it's not its priority, so speed doesn't matter. But, you know, if, for example, if they set up, you're only getting the 75 base power. But basically, Avalanche has 90% accuracy, but it's 75 base power, so it becomes 150 base power. Ice coverage is not the most useful on Lapras as a water dragon, because it kind of overlaps with your dragon stab, but not really. I mean, it's still very good coverage to have, as is electric and all these other stuff you have here. You have good physical coverage too, like Rock Slide and Play Rough and Take Down, Mega Horn, etc. A lot of really nice stuff there. Dragon Dance is niche. Your speed set is not the greatest on its own, but you know, you get 2 Dragon Dances up pretty easily with stamina as well. You get basically, if you use stamina Dragon Dance and you got hit both turns, you'll be at +2 defense, +2 speed, and +1 attack, which is really useful and really good. Yeah, there's not too much else to talk about. I mean, stamina is just really good. You can use that in conjunction with Aqua Ring and just rack up boosts over and over again. It's really, really nice and really, really strong. Other great coverage we have. Charm is useful for more utility, same with Tickle. Haze is good for totems and also just for stopping sweeps and stopping boosting runs. Like I said, Sing is nice, even though it's 80% accurate, it's still guaranteed 2 turns of sleep as long as they're faster than you. If you outspeed them, then you're only getting 1 turn of sleep, but obviously the advantage being you didn't take damage that turn or didn't take an attack or didn't let them use a move. So, you know. I also give them dual screens and some other good utility. T-Wave, whatnot. I'd considered keeping them water ice and giving them refrigerate for like hyper voice and shit, but then I realized, wait, there are better mons for that, and also it's kind of boring to have a bunch of water ice mons with refrigerate. Sorry, a bunch of ice mons with refrigerate. I believe none of the water ice were actually gonna have refrigerate planned. Let me actually triple check right now. Yeah, none of them have refrigerate, so technically, stamina refrigerate. Stamina, Refrigerate, Water Ice, Lapras would not overlap with any of the other Water Ice types, but I just feel like this is much more unique, given that Kingdra, I mean, all the Water Dragons are bulky, because Mega Gyarados has good HP and solid defenses and multi-scale, and then Seadra can run a Violet and become really bulky, and then Kingdra is just naturally bulky, kinda. But Lapras is probably overall the bulkiest if you don't count multi-scale and Mega Gyarados, which is yeah. And then also stamina is like I said, I've been saying this like 4 or 5 times at this point, but stamina's great. Trust me, it's so strong with healing moves as well. Yeah, I mean you have powerful stab moves. You got all this great stuff, and then one of your best things is Shell Smash is so good on it. The animation fits really well, so that's why I was kind of on the fence. But Lapras already had Shell Armor, so like this is very clearly a shell. I know it's meant for like people who held onto and sit on and whatnot, but point is Shell Smash fits Lapras pretty well, and it is god tier. I mean, Stamina Shell Smash is so good. You can use like White Herb Stamina Shell Smash and just get +2 speed, +2 attack, +2 special attack, and then +1 defense over and over again. And you can heal and whatnot. It's really good. 50 base speed when maxed out is very fast, so that's nice to have. Let's put in a plus speed nature. Actually, sorry, neutral speed nature, you're at 398, which is very fast. But at a plus speed nature, you're outspeeding like everything at 436, so that's really good to have. And of course, you have Calm Mind with like Bubble Shot. You have Calm Mind and Stamina, like I said. It's just really nice to have. Honestly, the only thing I feel like Lapras would want would be like a damaging healing move, but obviously none of those fit. So, Lapras is very much chilling as they are. Very, very strong, very, very bulky. Lots of great utility, lots of great setup, lots of great coverage. Really good mon overall. That's not really too much else to cover. This is another very straightforward one outside of the typing being maybe controversial and people thinking stamina is weird. I don't think it's weird at all. It's literally a transport Pokemon that gets known for carrying people around. And again, it's a ride Pokemon, and I feel like I could low-key give stamina to all of them. Not that I would, because the champ already has its abilities, and there's another pure fighting type with stamina planned. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I totally could give it to the others. I'm not gonna, but like I could. There's already a perennial type with stamina, so Statland would work, because you have Tauros, and if it's Tauros, much more obviously. Although Statland will have a defensive ability, not Intimidate, but you will see. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to. Yeah, it's not too hard to guess what it would be. Anyways, yeah, not much else. I mean, like I said, tons of coverage, new coverage, old coverage, good setup, Rock Polish, Amnesia, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Dragon Dance, sorry, and then Shell Smash, whatnot. Really good mon, very solid, very reliable. I guess I can explain why I didn't go higher on the defense. I mean, I know it has a giant shell, but I still feel like it should be better, especially bulky, than it is physically. That's even how regular Lapras is actually. As you can see, you got 80 and then 95, so yeah. Very happy with how Lapras turned out, and I'm happy I went with Stamina over Soaring Grace. Soaring Grace would have been really good, but Stamina's a lot better. So yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. And next up is Ditto. So that'll be a really interesting one. Just stay tuned for that one. It's gonna be interesting. Also, I might not be able to get much out tomorrow. I got a lot of shit to do. So if I don't finish Ditto tonight, then I probably won't get them done till Monday, unless I finish that thing I gotta do early. But I doubt I will. So yeah, thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys, and hope you enjoyed.